Hello, and welcome, my friends, to the next video in the Create Better Content series, where I show you how to tap into your creativity so that you can stay consistent with your marketing and reach more customers. My name is Penny, and I'm going to be your guide through this content development process. I want to teach you how to create engaging content for social media, email sequences, sales pages, all of those things that you use in your marketing to help you reach more qualified customers. And if you want to learn more about creativity and how this can help you develop your content marketing plans, I would love to see you hit that button below and subscribe to this channel. And below, down in the description box, there are several links. One of the links that you'll see is for the Content Calendar Blueprint. This is an email-based training. It's a comprehensive guide that's not just going to teach you how to set up your content calendar, but to give you the steps and the actions that you can take to actually develop a strategy and develop the content that goes into your content calendar. And another link that you're going to see is that you can subscribe to the Marketing Strategy Collective, and you can personally go through this process of developing remarkable content and do it in a supportive group online space. And see what happens to your marketing strategy when you stop working on it alone and you get the support and feedback that you need. So you see the links below, and you know what to do to learn more. All right, so let's get into today's video, because what I want to talk about today, I want to talk about some content marketing. I don't want to call it a secret, a truth bomb, I guess is the best way of saying it. I want to drop down a truth bomb on you about marketing, because I hear this a lot. I hear this from clients. I hear this in comments and all that stuff. People think that their biggest problem is when they're sitting down to write their content and they're just staring at a blank document on their screen, trying to think about what they're going to post, what they're going to create, what reels they're going to make, what they're going to put in their emails, all of that stuff. And they're like, I just don't know what to say anymore. And so here's the truth that nobody's talking about. I don't believe that the reason that you're feeling like this and you're feeling kind of like, oh my goodness, what's going on here, is because you're out of ideas. I don't think that's what it is. I think what's happening is you are skipping a step that makes your content creation go a lot easier, smoother, and keeps you consistent. So before you create another piece of content, I want to talk about this today. I want you to ask yourself this one question, because this one question has the power to unlock clarity, bring you focus, and keep the momentum going in your marketing. Alrighty then. So what is this one question that's going to be your savior of your content creation? The one question you should be asking yourself before you create more content is this: what have I learned from the content that I have already created? You didn't see that one coming, did you? So I'm going to repeat that, because I think it's so important. And that's why I'm calling it a marketing truth bomb, because it's not something everybody's talking about. When they talk about, being consistent or this, and it's like, oh, we've got mindset problems. Oh, we don't have the tools for it. What if it's just something as simple as asking yourself this one question: what have I learned from what I've already created? Because here's what I get. Here's what I get and I see, because I have these conversations with clients all the time. Most small business owners are constantly creating without ever taking the time to stop and reflect. You're posting because you normally post on Tuesdays on Instagrams. You're sending an email because your content calendar said this is the date that I'm sending out my email. But the content, without intention and purpose, just becomes more noise. And when you don't look back and see what's worked and why it worked, you just end up repeating. You just end up repeating the same thing over and over and over again. And chances are what you're repeating over and over again isn't working. So in this episode, I want to talk to you about this. I want to tell you how you ask that question and take a simple pause, a moment to reflect, can completely transform the way that you are creating content, because there is an enormous power in reflection. And reflection isn't about overthinking things. It isn't about, oh my goodness, what did I do wrong? Or, beating yourself up over something. It's about observing it with intention. And here's what I mean by that. When you take a look at your social media posts or your emails or your sales pages or anything that you're utilizing for your marketing, ask yourself this: what content got the most engagement? And what was I doing differently in that piece? And what you were doing differently could have been the image now has a selfie instead of some stock photo that you used. What you did differently was maybe instead of just doing a whole bunch of Instagram posts, you did a really great behind the scenes in LinkedIn. So think about it from that place. Not what was bad, what was terrible. What were you doing differently that created that engagement, that created the action? And that leads me to another question. Did you even have a call to action? And did you have a call to action that led to clicks or sales? Because that's another thing that I catch. I see people doing social media posts all the time, but you never tell me what my next step is. Read this blog post, click here to sign up, whatever I need to do to keep moving forward with your sales and into your sales funnel. Tell me what I need to do. So take a look at your posts. Do you actually have a call to action? And did it lead to clicks or sales? And then on that same, conversation here, look at your posts or your videos or everything else that you're doing and think about what felt good, what felt easy to create. Why did it feel that way? I think a lot of times we're creating content because of a list of some template or some influencer or somebody's telling us that you have to be on video, you have to be doing live streaming, you have to be doing this. And we try to force ourselves into this template, into this version of what other people are doing with their business without even thinking about what our strengths are. What if our strengths are not video and showing up on a video or a live stream, but our strengths are writing? So why aren't we looking at things that are easier to create, like writing blog posts, like utilizing the LinkedIn publishing factor, like setting up something on Substack to start reaching more people? We need to start thinking about it from that place too, because it's not just about following what somebody else who has a zillion followers, because they say to do this. I want you to think about it from the place of where your strengths are. What are the things that feel good, that feel easy, that's going to help you, create more content? Because those are the things that are going to come across as feeling very, what's the word I'm looking for? Confident. You're going to come across sounding confident, because when you do the thing that you have the strength of doing, and that's what your skill set is, it's going to be easier for you. You're going to, you're not going to be upset that oh my God, I got to write another blog post. You're going to be, yes, I've got more writing to do, and that comes across in your confidence. And then the confidence gets spilled out into the post itself. So I want you to think about that place too. And then another question that I would have you ask along that same line is, where did you show up fully as yourself? And how did your community respond? If you showed up fully as yourself in a live stream and more people showed up and were like, hey, it's so great to finally see your face, or oh my goodness, he finally answered my question, I got somebody to answer my question in real time, those are the kinds of things that I'm asking about. Those are the things that I want you to take a look at. Because what's going to happen is when you start looking at your content, when you start asking the question of what did I learn from my content, and you take the time to look at these things, and I mean objectively. Don't, like I said, don't try to beat yourself up like, I only got 2 likes on this, or oh, terrible, horrible, poor me type of thing. I want you to look at it more from the patterns. There's going to be pattern, because when you can start to see the patterns, maybe the pattern is doing these images of a selfie every now and then ups my engagement. What if the pattern is not going on Facebook, but getting really big success on LinkedIn. So I stopped doing Facebook and I take all of my energy onto LinkedIn. That's a pattern. I want you to think about it from that place. I want you to take a look at the patterns, because there's going to be patterns, especially if you are doing things that are creating engagement, that are creating people to take action. There's something that's happening, and it allows you to stop guessing. And when you can start seeing these patterns, it builds clarity into your strategy, because you know what to do. And that's a huge marketing shift for you to take, because instead of moving from I'm just creating content because it fills my feed, I get to be able to say follow me on Instagram. So when you go to Instagram, there's 3 posts that I did this week, and it shifts from that moment of just doing to do into content that's going to connect with people, and it's going to convert those clicks into actual sales, and it's going to start growing your business when you take the time to pause and reflect and really look at the content that you've been sharing. And it allows you to get really clear on your messaging, because you start to see where you've been trying to say this, and you start to see the parts where you have been successful at saying this. And so then it gives you the idea, everything from keywords and phrases to how you say this, something more powerful. And that just leads to better storytelling. That just leads to more converting content. That leads to more opportunities to connect with people. And when you do take this time to really pause and reflect and look for the patterns, your call to action gets stronger, because you start to see what your community responds to. You start to see that your call to actions get more specific. It's not like, oh, let me know your thoughts about this, or what do y'all think about that? Your call to action is to read more, click here. To join this, sign up here. You're actually telling me the next step that I want to take. And when you think about it from that place, with clearer messaging, a stronger call to action, you show up. And you show up in a better and a stronger place, because you know what works. And when you know what works, that's the thing that builds confidence in your marketing plan. It allows you to trust your voice and the words that you're going to say. And the more you can share your information, the more confident that you feel, the more it's going to come across. Your community's going to feel it. They're going to see it. And they're going to themselves take a look at your content and say, I need to learn more about this, or I want to know more. So let me just throw this out at you. So the next time you're getting ready to sit down to do your content creation, or maybe you're just writing some copy, or you're working on your content calendar, here's something that you can do. I want you to look back at your last 10 posts, videos, or emails. It doesn't matter how you want to divide this up, but I want you to do 10 of something. Either 10 social media posts, 10 videos, not 10 total. I mean, a total of 10, but it can be a combination of those different types of content, like maybe 3 social media posts, 5 videos, 8 emails, or whatever it is. My math is off, but you know what I'm trying to say. So it's a total of 10 things that include social media, videos, and emails. Look back at those, and I want you to find 2 of them that did really, really well, and ask yourself, what was different about this? What emotion did I tap into? What action did I invite my community to take? And write it all down, or type out some notes, or whatever it is. Think about what the key takeaway is. What would be just one key takeaway? Is it because I used a certain language? Is it because I'm using selfies in my images? Is it because I shared this video on a certain day that seems to be working for me? The email, did I have a really good subject line in that email and I got people to open it? What happened? I want you to actually spend some time looking and understanding what is that one key takeaway that you can take from looking at these 2 posts or emails or videos, or whichever ones that did really, really well. And then you take that information and allow that information to shape your next piece of content. I want you to think about what was that key takeaway? What was the pattern that you're starting to see? And utilize this information as you're working on your next piece of content, as you're working on your content calendar and you're developing your content creation, whatever it is that you're working towards. Because if you think about it from that place, by just doing this one simple thing and asking this one question, what did I learn from this? You are literally going to level up your strategy. And you're doing it without me telling you to add one more platform to your list, or there's a new trend that everybody's doing, you need to jump into this. What you're doing is you're leveling up your marketing strategy based on the data and information that you've learned from real-time data, not somebody else's data, your data. Your data from your marketing, from what's working with your community. I mean, and that's it. That's all you need to do. And so if you take this information and you ask that one question, it's going to allow you to move forward with a purpose and intention. So before you sit down and you start to batch your content or post, just a post, I want you to stop and ask yourself that question. What have I already learned from the content that I have posted? What's working? What needs to be tweaked? What could I utilize in my next post? And I want you to think about it too, because this is valuable information. This is not you wasting your time by looking at 10 different posts and trying to figure out where the pattern was. No, what that is you taking the time to think about how you can be intentional with your marketing and actually putting it into a strategy. Because when you create your marketing from this place, it gives you clarity about what to create. It allows you to move forward and know that this is going to be connected with your audience and your customers, so it allows for it to be intentional. And your content stops just blending in because you're not posting just to post. You are being intentional, you're being purposeful, and you're being confident with your content that does more than just post just to post. It allows you to start connecting to real qualified customers. So thank you so much for joining me today on this creative journey. If you've enjoyed this content about content development, I hope you'll hit the share button. Let's keep this conversation going. And if you've found this helpful, I would love to see you subscribe. The more people that subscribe to this channel, the more people that I can help with real strategy and real marketing tips for small business owners just like yourself who want to grow their business. And if you are looking for a content plan and you need some help with this review, you need some feedback over looking over your posts, come join us in the Marketing Strategy Collective. We're not just talking strategy, we are focusing on your business. We're talking about the tools and the support and everything that you need to stay consistent. So whether you're just starting from scratch or you want to refine what you've already built, this Patreon group is where you're finally going to get the guidance and the clarity to grow your business with your content marketing. So you see the link below and you know what to do to learn more, to get the marketing help that you need to see real growth in your business. You are magnificent, my friend, and let me be the first to say, I'm proud of you. Until next time.